Hi, I'm Jim. I'm a narcissist. I have narcissistic personality disorder. I'm making these videos to share my firsthand perspective on things like the symptoms I identify with this disorder, the challenges it is presented in the past, as well as how I'm going to try to meet those challenges in the future. I have other videos. They talk about things about like how I came to discover I have this disorder and eventually be diagnosed by my therapist. I did one video and talks about the symptoms I don't have. Only 1.2% of the population gets diagnosed with this disorder. It's very rare that people with the disorder even identify that they have the disorder, to the point where most therapists and psychiatrists agree that if you know that your patient has narcissistic personality disorder, there's a huge belief that you should not tell them, because they won't acknowledge and identify with it, and they won't work whatever plans you have towards a wellness and betterment plan, which is crazy and insane. But that's the best they can kind of come up with. So if you want to, if you haven't watched the other videos, if any of that interests you, they're out there. I make these videos first for myself, because when I first was trying to do research into the disorder, I couldn't really find any information that I identified with. And for anybody out there that's looking to gain information, whether you think you have this disorder or you have been diagnosed, maybe you know somebody and you think they have this disorder, or I hate to say it, maybe you're a victim, right? This disorder does a lot of damage. I've done a lot of damage to a lot of people, and maybe you're a victim, and you're looking for what things are like from the other side of the curtain, or just anybody looking for firsthand information. So give you my full disclaimer. I have a degree in psychology that I have not used since I got it a long time ago. I'm an auditor, so I in no way, shape, or form am an expert, right? I just trying to give my firsthand account and the things that I've seen and I've experienced, right? So, kind of take that for what it is. Wanted to do this video today about something that's no, it's not a little, it's a lot. It's really challenging for me. It's really tough. How to handle it when stuff goes sideways, right? When stuff goes good, man, I'm not gonna say it's easy, right? But it's easier. When you're racking up those wins, right? You're going into a retail establishment and you see that long line, or the person waits on somebody ahead of you, and you don't start freaking out, cursing, right? And next thing you know, you get up to, you do the right thing, and you don't let your narcissistic personality disorder take over, and you get up to the register, and that cashier is as nice as can be, and you wind up having like a quick little conversation about something cool, and you just leave there in a great mood. Racking up wins is easier, okay? But that the next time you go to that retail establishment, and you see that line, or the cashier waits on somebody else and ahead of you, and you want to blow your top, you want to let that freaking NPD monster out and just attack the situation, it's easier. You're like, oh, remember what happened last time? It was a win, right? It went so well. Why can't we do this again, right? But what happens when you're in that same situation and it goes sideways, and it goes further down, right? So it starts out, this is not going well. My NPD wants to freak out on this, right? And then it gets lower, and it really wants to freak out, and and it starts spiraling on you, right? And it gets harder and harder to hold that disorder monster, at bay, to not freaking sit on your shoulder, taking control of the situation and making a mess of your entire life. What do we do? What do we do? Stuff's gonna go south, right? You are not gonna go the rest of your life and win every victory. This stuff is gonna go south, and we are going to find ourselves in a terrible situation, right? Where we just wanna quit and we just wanna give up, right? We want to take the easy route. We want to let that narcissistic personality disorder on our shoulder just go back to screwing everything, into oblivion, right? How do we avoid that? What do we do? Stuff goes sideways. It does. We do the right things, and hey, we're human. We have to be able to forgive ourselves when we fail, right? Not just accept that we failed, but we have to forgive ourselves for our failures, right? We have to be able to move on and move past them. But what happens when we feel like we're doing so well, right? I mean, hey, maybe 9 out of 10 weren't successes. I mean, 9 out of 10 weren't failures, but only that 1 out of 10 was, right? And we're doing so much better. But that person on the other side, they cut you off, right? And I mean, they don't just cut you off; they cut at your core, right? And that's what kind of happened to me. So, my ex, I've been really working to do the right things. I had, you know what I mean? And I had my failures. I really did. I own them and I accept them. But so much was different. And I didn't just get the axe. She knew what to say to hurt me in a way that I didn't know a human being could, and I'll share. I have narcissistic personality disorder, so of course, feeling wanted and feeling loved and feeling needed is huge to me. And she's the mother of my 3 children. One, of course, is grown and out of their home, right? So only 2 live there. And she came at my throat, not literally, but used the words, "You're not needed here," right? And it was used more than once. And I felt like I was doing so good. I really felt like there was true change, right? And I attempted, to, hey, can we talk? And no, the line in the sand was drawn. You know what I mean? You can come over to see your kids. Call ahead, right? But other than that, you are not needed. Nobody needs you here. And for me, it was really sideways. It hurts. What do I do? Do I listen to that voice that says, "Yeah, remember me?" To not being able to hold a job, to ruining everybody's life, to screaming and cursing at people, at the grocery store. Hey, I'll take over if you want. No. Gotta walk through our questions, right? So if I did that, what would my life look like? I have a great job that I love. How long would I have it in letting that narcissistic personality disorder control my life again, right? My relationship with my kids, I've only been diagnosed a couple of months, but it's changed the relationship with them so much. It has. I go into public and I'm proud of who I am with these kids now. My youngest, we're just at a store and stuff goes sideways. You know what I mean? Where I'd normally be yelling and screaming, and I'm just walking out of there on cloud 9. How proud I am that my son can see me doing the right things, right? I'm not embarrassing him, right? I'm going to my middle guy's hockey games, and I'm not embarrassing him, by being that parent that's screaming, vulgarity at the referee. I'm not, I'm proud of this relationship now, right? If I let that narcissistic personality disorder, it's going to go back to the way it was, and so much has gotten better, right? So I think the best way you're going to be able to really handle it is, first, you need to get ready, right? If you're new to this, man, be ready and anticipate what you're going to do when stuff goes south, right? When it goes sideways on you. Like, have a game plan. right? Don't get blindsided. That's when it's the easiest, right? It's the easiest to lose focus is when you do not expect it at all and it hits you and you just quit and give up, right? Have a plan, right? So what am I going to do if/when, things go south, things go bad? Like, what's going to happen, right? All right. So walk yourself down that road. Like, what things can you control in this situation, right? If you're having thoughts about quitting, what would that look like? Walk yourself down the potential negative consequences, right? Ultimately, at the end of the day, sometimes you just gotta say, I can't control what other people do. I can only control me. And it's a tough one. It's a really, really tough one. But they control their actions, and you got to take responsibility. What damage did you do in the past that may have caused them to act like this now? Again, I get they're responsible, and we want to make ourselves the victims. We're always the victim, right? And our mind wants us to play that victim role, right? But my ex, how many years of emotional abuse did I put on her shoulders? What did I do that led her to act that way in the present? I mean, I got to take ownership and I got to take responsibility for that, right? I'm not saying she's not responsible, for her actions. I'm not. But what's my role in that? What did I do to cause that reaction, right? I'm going to share another really, really tough one. And for people that are in a relationship with somebody that has narcissistic personality disorder, the research is going to tell you, get out, leave the relationship, cut them off, and don't ever look back. Don't ever allow them to honeymoon you, to fake future you, to hoover you. If you're not familiar with these terms, hoovering means when you have narcissistic personality disorder. Hoovering is when I'm doing everything in my capability to suck somebody in. So I've done this so many times I can't even tell you. What we do is we treat you like you're amazing, like you're the most phenomenal person in the world, better than anybody could ever treat you, and we get you close. And then we let our disorder take over, right? And we treat you like filth, right? All the things I talked about in those other videos. And to the point where, you just up and leave. Then we hoover you again. Fake futuring, talking about stuff that, promises we're not going to keep, right? Honeymooning, talking about how great it's going to be. And, and then we go back to that amazing, nobody will treat you better, persona to suck you back in, and then we go right back to the way we were, right? And that's why they say, if you're in a relationship and you're being emotionally abused by someone with narcissistic personality disorder, leave and cut them off. Block them any way you can. Do not allow them any contact of any kind. So, with that being said, not baby mama ex, other ex. Man, I got a lot of exes. That's what happens, right? That's how it works. Lots of exes. So this is my most recent ex. So we separated several months ago. She left, and did the right thing. She cut me completely off. All right, communication opened up again, and we were trying to work on things. That's when I discovered I had this disorder. She's part of the reason I discovered I had it. Went to a therapist, got diagnosed, and I really, man, as I tell you, I've been working on things, right? And I get it's only been a couple of months, right? But yeah, I've been working on things, and she noticed the changes, and came for a visit, and decided she wanted to reconcile. And there's no exaggeration when I say I truly believe at my core I'll never feel 1/10 of what I feel for this woman. I mean, if I live at that, if I get reincarnated 1,000 times, I'm never gonna find anybody that I feel anywhere even close to this. I mean, there's, I am not physically able to love with more everything of my body, soul, mind, you name it. Right? And, you know, and she's like, hey, you know, I want to be in a relationship again, you know. You know, I'm seeing the changes, right? And of course, you know, she had moved away. So we were going to do the long distance thing. So after about a week, it really kind of set in, and she thought things over, and changed her mind that you know, there was no way for her to know whether or not what I was doing was valid or real, and there was no way for her to know whether or not I would go back to the way I was. And just like it says, you know, you gotta put up that entire wall. But for me, it just can't go more south. I mean, I felt like I was doing everything that I could, right? I was on top of keeping that narcissistic personality disorder off my shoulder and putting that under my foot and stomping on that thing. I mean, I kept it down, right? I was, you know, I mean, I was really being the person that I wanted to be. And then, you know, you get hit with a blow like this, and it would be easy to just let him do whatever he wants. But again, what am I doing? At this point, I hurt that girl. I hurt her so bad for so long, right? And that's my accountability, right? She has every right, and everything says that what she's doing is the right thing, right? I have to take my part, my responsibility for how I treated her for the over year that we dated, and that led her to her actions now. But I can't go back to the old way. I can't try. I haven't allowed myself to utilize any fake futuring, any hoovering, right? Any honeymooning, you know, any glorifying, you know. I haven't, and I'm not, you know, and I'm not going to, because that if we were to have been able to build a relationship, that's not how it needed to be built. It didn't need to be built on the narcissistic disorder, right? It needed to be built on her being willing to be open to there being real change. But when you've done as much damage as I have, and there's just such a crushed foundation, you know, that's what got us here, right? That's why she made the decision that she did. So what do I do now? Do I just let the disorder go back to ruining my life? We walk through, how would that look? Again, I mean, I love my job. I mean, you know, it's amazing here. Probably the best job I've ever had in my life. I mean, it's, you know, so if I let that disorder run things, I mean, how long am I going to last here before it takes over and just ruins it, right? You know, I told you, my relationship with my kids when we're out in public, man, it's awesome. I mean, I'm proud to be with them. I'm proud of the person I am, and it's not just that. I mean, it's little things. You know, I'm a glory hound. I don't post glorifying stuff on Facebook any longer. You know, I did one of the greatest, most amazing accomplishments I think in my entire life, and I can count on my fingers the amount of people I've told about it. And I mean, it's, you know, and those are just the people that I care about, you know, the ones that deserve to know, the ones that I want to share that with. It's not about that people telling me how amazing I am and, oh, that's awesome. It's about, look, I care about you, and I want you to know this, right? I I don't want that to go away. I don't want to lose any of that, right? You know, stuff's sideways. It is. And that's not going to derail the future I'm making for myself. That's not going to derail the progress and the change that I've made, right? And I'm not going to allow that to affect the hard work that I've done. But get ready. Like I said, if you think you have this disorder, or you've been diagnosed with this disorder, right, and you're new to it, stuff's gonna go sideways on you. It is. And for me, it ain't over, man. Right? Guess what? You know, just because I'm at a low now, doesn't mean there ain't gonna be more lows. Maybe even lower than this. I mean, you know, there's times when we lose people, important people to us, right? There's going to be times when I do everything the right way and I keep my disorder at bay, and stuff just doesn't go my way, you know. And I'm going to have to deal with that. And I'm going to have to take control like I am in this situation, and I'm going to have to persevere, right? Getting to that future where this disorder stays underneath your foot and not on your shoulder, man, that's the goal. That's the goal, right? We don't lose sight of the goal, right? We take our accountability, right? Hopefully, you know, you can spend a little bit of time and think about, what am I going to do when stuff goes sideways to me? You know, at this point, silver linings, as they say. Here's my silver lining, right? Yeah, stuff's pretty sideways right now, but I'm gonna come out on the other end, right? I'm gonna do the right things, and the next time it goes sideways, I'm gonna look back and be like, man, stuff went sideways on you before, and you were able to get through it, and you know, and look, other stuff came together in the right way, right? They're not all gonna be wins, but man, so many of them are, right? You keep that disorder under your foot, so many of them are, right? So many of them are. But of course, you know, we want to be the victim, right? So I want to run around and have everybody, woe is me, poor Jim, right? But we can't do that, right? That's the disorder on the shoulder. We keep him underneath the foot, where he deserves to be, right? So hopefully the rest of my videos will be a little bit more upbeat. I'm kind of glad. I think this is an important thing to share. Not just for me to get this out. And I did. Thank you, because I really need to get this out. But I mean, I hope it's helpful. All right, and those that are victims, close it. Right. That's the best advice anybody can give you, is block them in every way, shape, or form, and don't let them back in. And this is coming from somebody that's being done to, and man, I'm having a hard time with it, but that's the right thing. And I promise you, I've thought it over 1,000,000 times. I have. If I had the strength and courage, I would have told her to. Man, I would have done it myself and been like, look, I'm doing this. I'm cutting you off completely, and I'm doing it because it's for your own good. Because, man, you know, when you love and you care about somebody, I mean, this was the best decision that girl could ever make. I don't care that I feel confident I'm gonna go the rest of my life and keep this disorder under my foot. There's a chance I don't, and there's a chance I was gonna hurt her again. This is the right decision, you know. And yeah, anybody in her shoes, do the same thing, right? It's you're a victim for a reason. Again, I hope the rest of them are upbeat, but hey, the world isn't all rainbows. I mean, sometimes stuff goes sideways.